Once again, kicking it old school with Tony Segreto here on a Monday, the Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Our time with Tony is always brought to you by Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services. A busy weekend. Yes, you had the Final Four. Duke fell to Carolina. Kansas moves on against Villanova. That will be the men's championship matchup tonight, but a lot going on in South Florida sports scene. The Cats get down 6-2 to the New Jersey Devils, roar back in the third period with 15 minutes left and win. They take it 6-6 into overtime. They then win in overtime 7-6. Then take the Buffalo Sabres on Sunday afternoon, win there, and are the first team in all of the NHL to clinch a spot into the playoffs, still leading the Eastern Conference, nipping at the heels of the Colorado Avalanche for the number 1 seed in all of the NHL. And in the NBA, the Miami Heat stormed out and never looked back against the Chicago Bulls Saturday. Sunday, people thought, look, Jimmy Butler's out. Kyle Lowry's first game back in Toronto is going to be emotional. Well, it was for most of it. The Raptors got out to a lead. And late, the Heat behind Max Strus and Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo, who had been sort of out of the rotation since Spo had figured some things out after the 4-game losing streak. But Victor Oladipo came in with a strong performance. And the Miami Heat, with Martin back, roar back, and get the win. And now the Miami Heat sit 2 games up over the Boston Celtics, 2.5 over the Sixers and Bucks in the Eastern Conference, with only 3 remaining. So a lot going on in South Florida sports scene. We talk about it all with the one and only Tony Segreto right here on the Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Jeff Morris, Mike Lubie Lubitz, and a little juxtaposition. We did a player to be named later swap here to get Tony Segreto in on Monday to accommodate his busy work schedule and travel schedule, which good luck, Tony, by the way, in the travel. We can get into that. But and John Kajemi, normally with us on Mondays, will be with us Wednesday in Tony's usual spot. You look great, kid. What's going on? What are you, hitting the road right after the show? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing my thing, just enjoying life and get outside early in the morning, and not this morning, but usually try to get out early in the morning and get a walk in, a little bit of one. But and I think, listen, a special thanks and shout out to Johnny Boy. He's a dear friend, and Carmela, his wife, his entire family, just a great family, and I thank him for switching with me, and sometimes these travel things come up, and yeah, I'm kind of, Joey and I got to give Joey a call because he and I are traveling together, and hopefully we're not delayed and we can get to where we need to get to by the time we need to get there.
Oh, it was a circus, Tony. No,
yeah, no, I know.
I actually got fairly lucky, and one thing about the Atlantic City airport, I mean, if you're ever flying to New Jersey, which I know, I mean, didn't you grow up Jersey? You're a Jersey guy, right?
Absolutely, Jersey boy here.
Fly right into Atlantic City, man. It's crazy. I mean, you pull up and you figure, where am I traveling to? The Twilight Zone? There's nobody here. Nobody. Yeah. Not a soul. The TSA, they're like having a party. They offer you a glass of champagne. You want to take it on the plane? No problem.
And they also say to you, you want to take us on the plane?
Yeah,
no
exactly.
problem.
It's crazy, And then most of the flights were canceled out of there. The only one that really took off was ours. Of the departures in the late
I will say I logged in a little early, and you are kind of bouncing off the walls this morning. I can.
Yeah, no, I feel great. I really do. There were so many things going on. I don't know if you can cover them even in an hour straight.
How many hamsters do you have rolling around on that head of yours? They're just boomeranging all over the place. You're going from this to that. I love it, actually.
We're destined for greatness. Well, I mean, I'm like a human tidbits column. I was saying earlier in the program. I used to like those tidbits newspaper columms, and I'm still a huge fan of any sports section that actually is still making an effort. Which, obviously they are in New York City.
Can I interrupt you for a second? I think your key word there is a sports section that puts in the effort. I don't. I'm like you. I like to read the Post, or I like to read. I'm not terribly impressed with what I read here. I'll be honest with you.
There's no content. I mean, it's not the fault of the people that work in the department.
I mean, other than I love Dave Hyde. Dave Hyde and I are friends, and I love reading him. But other than him, I just can't think of anybody that like
Greg Cody's been around forever. Miami Herald, he's great.
I can't find anybody other than Dave that I feel compelled to read. But I can't believe now. I did not hear the full context of this. Mayo's walking this back. That's
we expanded it without his consideration also.
Oh, so you played a role in
Oh,
this.
yeah,
Didn't we
for
invite
sure.
you to this dinner?
You know that.
Yeah, you
of
did.
course we did.
You did.
Well, you're
You
welcome
did.
to come, but it's going to be like I don't know. How does Anthony Bruno feel about separate checks? Like where everybody's check is separate. Like there's not one check that's for two people, except the one Mayo's picking up, which will be for three now instead of like the 15 or so that we had invited to this dinner.
I'm just shocked at Michael Mayo. He should not.
No, well, I mean, it was really unfair of us.
Well, yeah,
Just
you
assume
should not. You
we
should
invited
not
everyone.
have that. You
Because
should
he
not have
started to
just
say, he started to say he didn't mind
invited
if one guy
people.
came. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we invited everybody, and then, he got nervous, and our good friend, Jim Sarney,
Yeah.
and he's a big
I
fan
love
of
Jim.
yours.
I
Yeah,
love
dude,
Jim.
yeah,
great
he's
guy.
Great.
Yeah. I wonder if he would have agreed with Bob Raceman that the tournament is not the same without Gus Johnson calling games. Hello?
No,
You won't comment on another guy because I normally wouldn't because I feel like a strong bond and admiration and appreciation for anybody that worked their way through this business.
Yeah.
Right. And got to do what they wanted to do, whatever level it was. Maybe it wasn't the highest of network levels like a Tony Segreto, but just doing what we've been doing is absolutely fantastic. So I have a great appreciation for that. And a guy that made it big like Gus Johnson, but see, he used to ruin boxing for me. I'm hypersensitive to boxing announcers, having aspired to be one myself. And, I actually got to do it. And I don't know, I wasn't perfect at it. Like, I mean, you would hope to be, but nonetheless, I wasn't aborting these telecasts like some guys do, Gus Johnson being one of them. So that killed me. I mean, that tainted my opinion of this guy. He's probably a very nice guy. Do you know him, this guy, Gus?
No,
Johnson?
I do not. I do not know Gus. But I wanted to tell you something. I logged in early, so I heard you. Is it George Michael? It's George Michael. It's very interesting, and I just want to share something with you. For those people who know what the George Michael sports machine was, and as Defo has said on a number of occasions, it was the precursor to ESPN. It really was. It was the quintessential Sunday night show. Plus, it was the only show who really had the guts to put on auto racing when auto racing was absolutely nothing. And people would sort of laugh at George, and George would say, listen, it's going to be a big deal. And it was. But the reason I'm bringing this up at this point is this past week, for different reasons, I had to reach out to a number of my colleagues from the machine. And I was telling Roseanne, my wife, I go, it's really remarkable the pedigree of young men and women that George had working for him and where they are now. Lindsay Zarniak is doing, Fox, and she's doing NFL sidelines. She's doing
on the Olympics.
Olympics podcasts. The producers, I swear, producers are at NBC. They're all over the country working for different networks. And it is truly remarkable, the group of young men and women he had working for him and doing work with him. So with all those people doing what they're doing, I even get more honored every day that I was part of that whole group, that it was a truly remarkable group of people.
Yeah, I mean, imagine. I can't even imagine being part of a long-running, successful show at any level, much less in the major leagues. No, it was a great forerunner, and the guy wasn't afraid. I think I remember a young Tony Segreto, and you would go, okay, bull riding.
Yeah,
and
I did it for 30
years. There, and it was great. Yeah, he did it in a very deadpan fashion.
Years. I did it
30
for 30 years
wow.
for him.
30
years.
Bull riding, nice.
And it was remarkable. It was, I'd fly to Washington, and usually it was anywhere from 7 to, toward the end, it was like 7 to 12 times a year. So it was wonderful. It was just a great experience.
Oh, good stuff, Tony Segreto, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you think of the games on Saturday? And
I love both of them, of course.
Yeah, and then last night's game, I thought, again, very happy for South Carolina. What a dominant performance, and those women were they were fantastic. I love.
Where do you line up on Gino? Are you a fan?
No.
And why is that?
He said it straight up.
I mean, obviously, why is Gino not seen as the women's version of Coach K? because of his personality.
Summitt.
I mean, he is a little abrasive,
Because
you know.
I think
he
he's
just
more
seems
than a
to be,
little. I think he's
a
more
little
than
sure of himself. I mean, but I don't know. Do you have to be that way sometimes to be successful?
I think he's more than a little abrasive. I think I think the issue for me anyway is that he's abrasive to other coaches.
Yeah,
that he's playing against, especially other
Pat
female,
Summitt. He was a disgrace with Pat Summitt.
Summitt,
You're
other
right.
female coaches too,
yeah.
which is again allegedly, but there's enough smoke there where you believe that some of it is, if not all of it.
What do you think? There might be some illegal recruiting going on?
No, I don't know about that. I can't.
Just because they fired their last 5 men's coaches over scandalous situations.
I can't address that. But just knowing what I know about how Gino treats other coaches that he plays against who are women, and how he, allegedly speaks of them, and it's not something that.
No, that wouldn't gel with Tony Segreto.
I love the girls that play. I love the girls that play for him. I mean, some of the girls that play for him are just outstanding. They're outstanding.
Great
people.
stars, yeah.
They're outstanding. Forget the fact that they're good players. They're outstanding young women and young people who have really done great things once they have left the program, as you hope all your athletes do. But I think that to see some of those some of the great stories that South Carolina had, and I'm excited to see what happens tonight. I'm not sure who I want to win. I think my lean is going toward North Carolina. I would love to see this new coach, this first-year coach, the way he believes in what he's doing, and the players and how they love him, and following a legend and being able to maintain that after a tough start of the year.
I think Williams is still actually coaching a team.
It feels like Roy's still.
Hey, listen,
he's sitting too close to the bench. He's on every
right
game.
there.
No, I push back on that. I totally disagree. He is in the stands.
We're only kidding, Tony. I mean, what about his ties to Kansas, though?
You're stirring the pot.
He made his name in Kansas, Roy Williams. So where's his rooting interest tonight? Kansas and North Carolina. He left Kansas to go to his dream job, which would be to coach North Carolina. Did a great job there. No, I like Hubert Davis a lot. I mean, he paid his dues to get to this spot. I don't know that they had to Rooney rule him into it, but he nonetheless was in a position here where he easily could have been set up for failure. They started out slowly, didn't look good. People thought they were soft. And, all of a sudden they flipped a switch. And I think it's 17 out of 20 now. Yeah. That they've won. Every now and then they'll throw in a stinker, though, just like a lot of the horses.
Yeah, let me tell you what, Kansas is really good. Kansas.
Well, the McCormick kid's playing out of his mind right now. That guy looks like a freaking force.
and I think to be able to kind of hold that back is going to be difficult for North Carolina. I just hope. Listen. My son and I were chatting yesterday at length. That
how many points is your bookie giving you? Are you getting like 7 with North Carolina?
15.
My son and I were chatting that.
Can I sign up with the service?
Rarely do. I'm just ignoring him. I'm totally
I can tell.
Last Monday when we did, or 2 Mondays ago when it was just you and I, it was a
peaceful.
lovely conversation.
Oh, get out of here, man!
So anyway,
you need the agitation, Tony. You know
he's great at that.
Yes.
But rarely, and Defo, you can speak to this. Rarely does a game that's so full of hype.
Yeah.
Does it live up to its hype? On Saturday night, Duke, North Carolina, not only lived up to the hype, it exceeded the hype. It was
wonderful. I mean, to see Coach
game.
K lose and that whole story go out the window, I could not have been happier, Tony Segreto.
I know.
I don't think I've ever been happier after a college basketball game in my life.
Good. I hope you celebrated well.
I did. No, I had a great time. I mean, I didn't bet a ton of money on this thing because, I'm not a huge sports bettor in general. And then I had also gotten clobbered that day in the race book. I mean, absolutely annihilated.
How'd you
after
do
getting off to a good
Derby?
start. I didn't play the Florida Derby.
at all.
In fact, I didn't even see it because it went off at like 6:30. So I was already gargling with Visine, having watched and bet on over 100 races before we got to the 7th at Gulfstream. And then we had this freebie at Gordon Ramsay Steak that Mustang's new casino host couldn't wait to, go ahead and lay on her.
How was that?
It was fine. Yeah, it was good. I mean, casino restaurants. I would say the one that we were at in Las Vegas, which also was a freebie for me, so it's not like the beef would be with the prices, was better than the one that was at the Harry's in Atlantic City. But fine. I mean, you know what? On a casino comp, everything tastes great, doesn't it, Tony?
Absolutely.
You were in the media. You know what it's like.
Yeah,
you could probably live for free forever.
What was our credo in the media? If it's free, it's for me.
Yes.
If it's not catered, it's not journalism. We've always felt that way. So let's break out the food. Yeah.
I remember, the infamous Thanksgiving Day game in Dallas. The Leon Lett game.
Yeah.
I remember it was on Thanksgiving, and I remember sitting in the press box and me and Harvey Green having Thanksgiving dinner together. And I love Harvey.
Nice.
And I looked at him and I go, never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd ever be sitting with you in a press
more
box
likely,
having Thanksgiving dinner. But it was really good. I mean, they did a great job, and it made me think of that. You tell you if it's catering,
it'd be more likely you would have been sitting with the Pilgrims having a Thanksgiving dinner than Harvey Green press box. Although that was a classic, and how impossible was it for the Dolphins to win that game? That was, speaking of old school. I am
telling you, man,
clunkers by a team, and it couldn't have been better than to have the Cowboys fail in miserable fashion on Thanksgiving Day.
Who would have ever? First of all, having play, for the Dolphins having to play on Thanksgiving Day was something new and different, and then to be playing in Dallas, and then on Thanksgiving Day in Dallas for it to snow, and then the roof not being closed. I mean, it was like a perfect storm. Who would have ever known that the way the script was going to play out the way it did? And people, you know what I love is watching people when a play like that happens, is watching people scatter on the sidelines trying to figure out what in the world happened. Right? Yeah. They're looking, they're pointing, they're throwing things out, and the officials are going, "Stop! We got to figure this out too." And everybody's already sort of kind of pleading their case as to what happened to tell the officials, right? But it was chaos, to say the least.
Well, and Shula had been screwed on any number of occasions in games that ended in a fluke situation, including the snowplow game, which I don't think he ever got over the snowplow game.
He never did. I will tell you that. First of all, the day started, just to kind of give you pull the curtain back a little bit. We're walking through the lobby as the players are getting on the bus, right? And it's this cold New England day, and the I'm not sure if it was Stu Weinstein or not, but whoever was in security at the time, one of the people in security.
It had to be Stu, man.
Yeah, well, it had to be Stu, but I think that there were other people involved in this.
I think they had a one-man security department. It was all Stu. Anything that happened.
Coach aside and said, "Listen, the weather's so bad, you may have to stay. We may have to stay here tonight." Well, that just set Don off right away. It was like, "You got to be kidding me! I can't get back."
I got dinner at the steakhouse. Reservations at 8.
Get break film down. Do this whole thing. They had these guys. Shula was so disciplined, as you well know. He was, this has to happen. Everything was compartmentalized. This has to happen here at this time. This has to happen here at this time. So he's already, all right, whatever it is, it is. So I'm listening to this. I'm going, wow, this could be interesting. So I call home and I go, listen, we may be not coming home. And I remember that it was so cold that they had put out different types of things for the players to wear. And then when the snowplow came out and that whole issue, it was, to your point, he never, ever got over that. He never got over
the heart. Yeah.
It was, how can you get
imagine seeing this, though. I mean, you're Don Shula.
The way the whole thing played out.
The guy's got a John Deere tractor out there on the
just
field.
for their kicker. And only their kicker.
Because everybody else is falling on their face.
And he's rushing off just the area where the kicker's going to kick it.
How great is that?
It was just... You could not,
and he makes it on top of that. It would have all gone awry if he had.
Movies are made of. It's that whole deal. It was incredible. And then the flight back and how everybody was all pissed and upset and angry and rightfully so. I mean, it was the
Patriots on top of that. I mean,
early
Patriots. It wasn't like the Browns,
Yeah,
or even anybody else but the Patriots. Anybody.
Yeah. So.
Always a lot of fun kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto here on 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thank you to Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services. Who's hotter? That's the question. The Heat, hot. Winners of 4 in a row. The Panthers, hot. Clinching a playoff spot from one in the Eastern Conference. And the Miami Dolphins, finally smart. Who knew? They get rid of Devontae Parker. In exchange, get draft picks. Yeah, it goes to the Patriots, which sucks to do within the division. But again, if Parker was the Dolphins' 4th or 5th receiver and he's the Patriots' first receiver, what does that tell you about the Patriots? The Dolphins finally seem to be figuring things out. We feel good about the South Florida sports team, at least right now. What will we feel tomorrow after the championship game? We'll talk about that and so much more here. Thank you to Tony Segreto for joining us today. Thank you to Texas Roadhouse Catholic Health Services. Thank you to you. This is the Defo Show with Lubie right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?